Welcome back to Schemes Declassified, where we look behind the paint, the markings, and the moments in history that inspired some of the most iconic Airfix kits ever produced. And few aircraft represents the golden age of aviation quite like the Boeing 314 Clipper. Graceful, ambitious, and unmistakable, the Clipper was always more than just an aircraft. It was a statement. Scheme A is a Boeing 314 Clipper NC 18605. It's Dixie Clipper from Pan American World Airways. This aircraft occupies a truly significant place in aviation history. On the 28th of June 1939, the Dixie Clipper departed Port Washington, Long Island, bound for Lisbon and Marseille, flying the southern transatlantic route. This was the first passenger flight across the Atlantic by the type. Passengers had booked their seats months in advance, and the flight only went ahead after several successful airmail-only proving flights. Pan Am now cleared to carry passengers, the world watched with fascination. Pan Am soon established transatlantic services on the northern route as well, flying to Britain via Newfoundland and Ireland, marking the dawn of regular long-range civil air travel, albeit during a period of growing international tension. Following America's entry into the Second World War, the Pan Am Clipper fleet was requisitioned by the US government, assigned to the US Navy but still flown by experienced Pan Am crews. Initially, the aircraft continued passenger service to Portugal and Britain. As conditions became increasingly dangerous, their role shifted to transport duties, moving high-value cargo and influential personnel. And there is no more valuable cargo than the President of the United States. In January 1943, President Franklin D. Roosevelt travelled to Morocco to meet Winston Churchill at the Casablanca Conference. The Dixie Clipper was prepared for the journey, with the crew informed only that they would be carrying a passenger known as Mr. Jones. The operation required two Boeing 314 Clippers. The Dixie Clipper departed first, around 35 minutes ahead of Atlantic Clipper NC 18604. Which carried diplomats and Secret Service agents. Roosevelt completed the final leg to Casablanca aboard a Douglas C-54 Skymaster, arriving at 6:20 p.m. on the 14th of January 1943, having travelled over 7,000 miles in 50 hours. During the return journey, the President celebrated his 61st birthday aboard the Dixie Clipper. After the war, the aircraft was offered back to Pan Am for $50,000, but the company believed the future lay with land-based airliners and declined. The aircraft passed through several owners before falling into disrepair. The Dixie Clipper was scrapped in 1951. Scheme B shows Boeing 314 Clipper GAGBZ from Bristol British Overseas Airway Corporation, South West England, 1941. Before America entered the war, BOAC was permitted to purchase 3 Boeing 314A Clippers, reportedly at a cost of around $1 million each, to support Britain's war effort. These aircraft were part of Pan Am's original purchase option and initially carried US NC registrations. They became some of the most impressive aircraft operated by Britain during the conflict. The 314A introduced several improvements. Delivered in British Temperate Sea Scheme camouflage, it's believed these colours were a US attempt to closely match British shades, though definitive evidence remains open to debate. BOAC operated the Clippers with 4 complete flight crews, rotating personnel to ensure rest and readiness. A dedicated maintenance facility was established in Baltimore, staffed by British engineers, with each aircraft overhauled on arrival. Operationally, the aircraft were used solely for air ministry purposes, carrying government passengers, VIPs, diplomatic mail, and reparation passengers. Both Winston Churchill and Lord Beaverbrook flew aboard BOAC Clippers, with Churchill becoming the first world leader to cross the Atlantic by air in early 1942. GAGBZ, Bristol, served as the flagship of the BOAC fleet and made the final BOAC Clipper flight. After being withdrawn from transatlantic service in 1946, the aircraft continued flying the Baltimore to Bermuda route until January 1948. In 6.5 years, BOAC Clippers flew 4,250,000 miles and carried 40,042 passengers. Only 12 Boeing 314 Clippers were ever built. They were pioneers of long-range flight and ultimately victims of rapid technological change. Elegant and refined, the Boeing 314 Clippers represented a golden age of aviation, when air travel promised possibility, prestige and adventure. Now, this remarkable aircraft takes its place as one of the latest high-profile additions to the Airfix Vintage Classics range. A beautifully detailed 1:144 scale tribute, it's a fitting celebration of one of aviation's most iconic designs. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the history behind the scheme, make sure to subscribe for more episodes of Schemes Declassified, where we uncover the real stories behind the kits on your shelf. And let us know in the comments, which vintage classic would you like to see declassified next?